Hey everyone, so I'm back again with another video, and as expected by the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about Digimon All-Star Rumble. This game just came out today, November 11th, 2014, and I have to say, while I didn't have high expectations, I was still thoroughly disappointed by this game. The first thing about it that I was really disappointed by was the fact that there are only 12 playable characters. Now, I'm happy that at least they included Guilmon. Guilmon is my favorite of all the main Digimon from all the different series. It kind of also sucks that they really didn't include anybody. Well, it's kind of difficult to include anybody from Digimon Frontier because they turn into their Digimon. But they did compensate for that by having Neimon and... yeah, I don't even think Bokumon was in it, but Neimon is sort of your, the guy that tells you what's going on, the announcer, I suppose, or something along the lines of that. Now, there's only 3 game modes in this, and the one game mode, you can't really call it a game mode, because all it is just practice mode. Still technically a mode, but you don't do much other than practice, and the opponents that you pick don't even counter any of your attacks, they just stand there and take damage and constantly regenerate. It lets you test out a new Digimon to battle with, but other than that, there's not much to it. The story mode, though, I was even more disappointed with that because, for me, that's like, well, one of the main reasons. Well, there's only 2 reasons to really want to play this game, but the story mode was just disappointing in the sense that there wasn't much exploration or even much to each of the individual levels, and even the enemies that you had to fight were pretty easy. Once you learn their patterns, they'd be easy enough to beat every single time. And although I haven't played story mode more than once with other characters, from what I've read online, playing it with different characters doesn't change the story at all. Like, it doesn't have a different ending or anything like that. It's the same one story for the entire game, which, again, kind of sucks. The fighting, though, it's really hit or miss with this game. It's a 3D fighting game on a 3D arena. I think personally it would have been better to be like the classic Rumble Arena games, but they decided to change it up. The best comparison that I can think of is Soul Calibur, where you have the arena, but there's no... well, there's a couple of stages where you can technically knock someone out of the stage and kill them, but not many of the stages are actually like that. The other thing is, I was just really disappointed in the quality of, I guess, of the images in the game. Either it's just the PS3 version, I don't know about the 360 version, but it looked terrible. Like, there was a lot of shaking, the camera was weird, you had absolutely no control of the camera in the game, and just the characters, they look gross. They don't look like I remember them looking. Now, I can understand why they would change them a little bit, but they just look ugly compared to what I would expect. And the only thing that was even more disappointing than that was the fact that the voice actors were just weird sounding. I could have sworn that Agumon's main attack there was Pepper Breath, but that's not what they called it in the game, and right now it's actually escaping me what they called it, but they didn't call it Pepper Breath, and I could have sworn that's what it was called. He also sounded like the guy who does the voice of Winnie the Pooh, which is kind of strange. Don't ask me why I remember that, it's just, he sounded very much like Winnie the Pooh, and it was strange overall. Now, I'm happy, though, that there is a new Digimon game, that a new Digimon game was made, and that it is a fighting game. Even though it's a lackluster fighting game, I'm still happy that this thing exists. And hopefully it makes Namco Bandai, or Bandai Namco, whatever you want to call it, Hopefully, it makes them think about releasing more Digimon games here in North America. Now, the last few Digimon games that we got here were all DS games, and they're pretty much just RPGs. And while they're fun, they all played pretty much the same. Now, I hope that they release more games, especially for the Vita. There have been a couple of games released on the PSP and also re-released on the 3DS that were in Japan only. I really hope that they consider bringing more Digimon games here to North America. Hopefully they bring a new movie or a new series here as well, because the last series just stunk. It was even worse than Digimon Savers, which pretty much killed Digimon flat for a little while here in North America. But yeah, that's all I have to say really about this game. It was kind of disappointing overall, but if you are a Digimon fan, I still suggest that you get it, because you're not going to be getting much else in terms of Digimon anytime soon, here in North America at least. If you're open to importing games and you're fine with not really understanding most of the story, go ahead and import some Japanese games. Otherwise, you really have no options. It kind of sucks. Considering also that the original set of Digimon World games for the PS1 are pretty expensive, and even Digimon Rumble Arena 2 is immensely expensive for any of the consoles that it was on. This is really your only option right now for a Digimon game. If you can find any of the other DS, PS2, Xbox, GameCube, PS1 games, if you can find any of the other ones, go ahead, play those. But if you really can't, go ahead, pick this up anyways. And again, if you're just a fan of Digimon, a very big fan, and you just want to buy it because it's Digimon, go ahead, but do not expect much. The fighting was awkward. You really have no lock-on. The camera is uncontrollable, like you can't control it in any way. And the enemies, like the minions and all that stuff in the game, especially the Goblimon and Mushroomon and Shellmon, I believe it was, they're all just very easy to beat. Even the mega level enemies are really easy to beat as well in story mode. So I guess if you just want to play around as a Digimon for a while, go ahead, play it. Otherwise, don't expect much. Anyways, that was my thoughts. Those were my thoughts on the new Digimon All-Star Rumble game. Buy it if you like or not. It's $44.99 for the PS3 and Xbox 360 here in Canada. It's probably $39.99 in the US. And I'm not entirely sure how much it costs in other regions. And I believe it hasn't been released yet in Europe or Japan. I think it's just North America first, and then the other two regions. But check it out if you think that you'll be into it. And that's it. See ya.